All right, today we're doing a quick 5-minute tour of the photography world as it stands right now. We're going to talk about some massive industry shakeups, the latest and greatest gear you can actually get your hands on, and of course, the mind-blowing AI tools that are completely changing the game. So, let's get into it.
It's a huge question and one that sends shockwaves through the whole community. And you know what? We just got a very, very real answer, and it tells us some pretty big changes are coming.
So let's start right there with the industry itself, because this isn't just about one company. The whole playing field for photographers and camera brands is being redrawn, like right now.
And here's the headline that dropped everyone's jaw. Olympus is out. I mean, a brand with an 84-year legacy in cameras is officially selling off its entire imaging division. We're talking everything, the OMD cameras, the Zuiko lenses, all of it is being handed over to an investment firm. This is a huge deal, and it really shows you the pressure the industry is under, especially from those cameras we all carry around in our pockets.
But here's the flip side. While one giant is stepping away from making cameras, another one, Samsung, is leaning in. They're actually converting a memory factory into a line for making camera sensors. They're betting big on the tiny little chips that are the heart of every single camera out there. It's a really smart pivot toward where imaging is going.
And this disruption, it's not just happening with the hardware. The way photographers actually make a living is also seeing some major shifts, especially if you're in the world of stock photography.
Take a look at this. Shutterstock, one of the biggest names out there, just completely flipped their payment model on its head. It used to be a royalty rate was based on your lifetime earnings, so the more you sold over the years, the better your cut. Simple. Well, the new way is based on how much you sell in a single year, and then it resets. Everyone goes back to the bottom level, back to a 15% cut every single January. You can probably guess this has not been a popular move with photographers.
Okay, enough of the heavy business stuff. Let's get to the good part, right? The shiny new gear that's just been announced.
First up, Panasonic just dropped a really cool lens for its full-frame S-series cameras. It's a 20 to 60 millimeter zoom. That range is just fantastic. It goes from super wide for landscapes all the way to a nice standard length for portraits or everyday shots. It's kind of like the perfect do-it-all lens for travel or vlogging.
And get this, the price? Just under $600. For a new, full-frame lens, that is an incredibly good deal. It makes getting into that whole L-mount system a lot more accessible for a lot more people.
And it's not just the big guys. Third-party lens makers are jumping in too. Samyang just announced this gorgeous 85mm f1.4 prime lens with autofocus for Canon's new RF mount. For Canon shooters, this is awesome news because it means more choices and more competition, which is always a good thing.
And hey, let's be honest. Some of the most important cameras being released these days aren't even cameras, they're phones. And two new heavy hitters just stepped into the ring. The Samsung Galaxy A31 and the Motorola One Fusion Plus.
I mean, the specs on these phones are just getting ridiculous. The Samsung's got a 48-megapixel main camera plus an ultra-wide lens, but then the Motorola comes in with a 64-megapixel sensor, special tech for better low-light shots, and even a dedicated night vision mode. And of course, both are packed with AI to basically do the hard work for you.
So with all these insane megapixels from our phones and our cameras, where are we supposed to put all these files? Well, Delkin has an answer. 2 terabytes. They just announced the world's first 2 terabyte CF Express card. That is just a staggering amount of space, built for the kind of high-speed, high-resolution shooting we're doing now.
So, we've got the gear, but that's really only half the battle. The other half, where the real magic is happening right now, is after the shot, in the world of editing software and AI.
Oh man, this picture, we have all been here. You think you nailed the shot, it was a perfect moment, but then you get it on your computer and it's just full of that ugly, grainy stuff they call digital noise. It's maybe the #1 frustration for photographers, especially when you're shooting in the dark.
So what's actually going on here? Well, it can be a bunch of things. You might be pushing your ISO too high, or maybe you underexposed the shot and tried to brighten it up too much later on. Even just a long exposure on a warm night can cause the sensor to heat up and create this noise.
For years, the only way to get rid of noise was to basically smudge your photo and lose a ton of detail. But now, AI is here, and it's a total game changer. With something like Topaz Denoise AI, the process is ridiculously simple. You just open your image, apply the filter, and the AI, it just knows. It intelligently removes the noise while actually keeping, and sometimes even enhancing, the details. It really feels like magic.
And you know it's a big deal when the biggest name in the business, Adobe, goes all in. Their new Photoshop camera app for your phone uses their Sensei AI to analyze your photos and automatically suggest filters and edits. It's bringing that pro-level power to absolutely everyone.
And you don't have to imagine it, just look at the difference here. On the left, you have a perfectly fine shot, but on the right, using some of these new software tools, it's a whole different image. It's a mood, it's a story. The creative power we have at our fingertips now is just unbelievable.
But, okay, let's take a breath. With all this chatter about AI and automatic everything, it's really easy to forget what's actually the most important piece of the puzzle. And that's you, the person behind the camera.
And I think this quote from photographer Tanya Chatterjee just nails it. Practice is the only way to train your mind and eyes. There's no AI filter for having a unique vision. Technology is an amazing tool, but the timing, the composition, the emotion, that has to come from the artist.
And this is what it's all for. I mean, just look at this incredible shot by Tanya. This photo isn't powerful because of the megapixel count or the editing software. It's powerful because of the human connection, the patience, and the skill it took to capture a moment that tells a story.
So that kind of leaves us with one big question to chew on. As our tools get smarter and smarter and can fix pretty much any mistake we make, what's actually going to make a photograph great in the future? What is it that will define the art when the technical part becomes effortless? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.